The United States might be one of the world's largest producers of oil, but that doesn't stop it from keeping a huge backup stash of crude. The Strategic Petroleum Reserve, or the SPR, is the world's largest emergency storage of oil. It can hold up to 713 million barrels of crude, providing several months' worth of import protection to the U.S. The U.S. government says the oil reserve acts as a deterrent to oil imports being suddenly cut off. The SPR is a government complex of 4 sites stretching along the Texas and Louisiana Gulf Coasts. The oil is stored 2,000 to 4,000 feet underground. America's emergency reserve came about after the 1973 to 74 Arab oil embargo. In 1975, President Gerald Ford signed a law creating the emergency reserve. Only the U.S. president can order the SPR to be used, and so far, this has happened just 3 times. First, when the United States attacked Iraq in 1991, President Bush announced that the decision to release oil was made to help minimize market disruptions. The reserve was again used in 2005 after Hurricane Katrina's devastation of the oil infrastructure along the Gulf of Mexico. With a 2011 civil unrest in Libya disrupting crude oil supply, the SPR was tapped yet again. A total of 60 million barrels of oil were released on the world market. The oil drawn from the emergency reserve has to be pulled out of storage first and then sold on the market. And this can take about 2 weeks.
Should a military strike be on the table right now as an option against Iran by the U.S. Specifically, Congresswoman, or do you think no?
Congress has the constitutional right to declare war. The president doesn't have it. Secretary of State doesn't have it, and Saudi Arabia certainly doesn't have it. I think we need to make sure that the American people understand that this administration that lies about weather maps or crowd sizes cannot be trusted to give us the full information we need to be able to make a decision whether we should be going to war or not with Iran. We are not in a position to think about another endless war. And I really hope that my colleagues in Congress are going to pressure this administration to take a step back and figure out how we use diplomacy in de-escalating the situation.
Government can be a powerful force for good, but only when it works for the people. And the American people understand that today it doesn't. Our national crisis of faith in government boils down to this simple fact. People don't trust their government to do right because they think government works for the rich, the powerful, and the well-connected, and not for the American people. And here's the kicker. They're right. At a time when this country faces enormous challenges, our government actively serves the richest and the most powerful and turns its back on everyone else. At a time of skyrocketing inequality and stagnant wages for our middle class, our government is giving gargantuan handouts to the wealthiest Americans. At a time when mass incarceration grinds down human beings and destroys communities of color, our government is putting more cash into the for-profit prison industry. At a time when sea levels are rising and the health threats posed by climate change are accelerating by the day, our government is handing over both taxpayer money and federally protected lands to the fossil fuel industry. At a time of staggering drug prices and soaring out-of-pocket costs, our government tucks tail and runs away from any serious challenge to big pharma and greedy insurance companies. At a time of crippling student loan debt, our government is bending over backwards to help bogus for-profit colleges and student loan companies get richer by cheating students. Across the board, our government is failing to fix the problems that face our working families. Instead, it is making the problems worse by giving more money, more power, and more advantages to those who already have all three. So today, I'm introducing the most ambitious anti-corruption legislation proposed in Congress since Watergate. This is an aggressive set of reforms that would fundamentally change the way Washington does business. These reforms have one simple aim: to take power in Washington away from the wealthy, the powerful, and the well-connected who have corrupted our government and put power back in the hands of the American people.